Welcome to In Your Element podcast, where we dive into stories of those thriving in their element. From entrepreneurs, influencers, to chefs, musicians, and the community leaders, we explore their journeys, struggles, and successes. I'm Randall Pink with Natalie Kaufman, and today we're bringing you another incredible conversation with Matty from Caffeine Fuel. Let's get into it. I'm Randall Pink.
I'm Natalie Kaufman.
And here we have
Matador Matty.
Matador Matty. So tell us a little bit about yourself, a little backstory, where you're from, and kind of what you do.
So originally I'm from New York. I moved out here about nine years ago, and I organized the Caffeine Fuel, aka the Cars and Coffee, here in Cincinnati, located at the Element Eatery.
How did that whole concept come about?
The concept came about when I first moved to Cincinnati. I used to go to Cars and Coffee downtown, and it was one of the key elements that brought me to the city because I was a car guy. So it was more like a social interaction. Some people like to go to clubs. Some people enjoy, outdoor stuff. So the car community was the car events. So it was one of the things on the list that checked off that made sense. And
Have you always been into cars?
yeah, always since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I want to say like 16, I started washing cars at the house, and the neighbors were like, "Hey, wash mine." And then eventually I was like, "All right." And then I would book one of my neighbors every like Saturday or Sunday, and they would just pull up with their car, walk home, and then I would just tell them, "Hey," I would come by and say, "Hey, your car's done," and they would pick it up.
Wow.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I had a detailing business out of the garage at my house
At the age of 16.
at the age of 16.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
And I
Yeah.
guess I got your mind working in like, hey, I guess I can take this and make a business out of this or anything else that you do.
Yeah, it started that way. And then I just love to build things. So cars was always the next step. So it started with like bicycles. I was the kid with the bike with all the cool stuff on it.
The pegs and
The
all
pegs,
that.
and I had the cool seat and everything. And I was like, you know what? What's next? Cars.
What inspired you? I guess you took what you learned at the age of 16 and kind of ran with it, but like what truly inspired you to take the path that you're on now?
The path of the car in the car community.
Yeah, I mean, the Caffeine and Fuel, like where you are today.
It was more like gathering people on a Saturday. So like every Friday night you would call your friends up. All right, where are we going tonight?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was similar to that, but on a Saturday. So it was like, all right, where are we going today? And I wanted to give people a place to go every Saturday. And it started like, all right, I call it my birthday party because everyone comes to hang out.
Yeah.
And then, we do it again next week and next week. So
It's a community at this damn point.
it is. I think everyone's comfortable now, and it's just you get to catch up, and it's early. So, before you have to go to any games or chores or anything like that, you could just sneak out the house, get coffee, hang out, and then you'll be back before 11, 12, before everyone wakes up in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
to take a quick drive and I might get caught up and drink some coffee while I'm at it.
Yeah. So it's a good little escape.
What do you think? Do you think you had any like key moments throughout your journey that you knew where you were going to head? Like you knew like, hey, this is a deciding factor. If I go one way, I'll end up here. If I go this way, I'm going to do this type of thing.
No, I just think it was more like it pulled me into the direction of networking because I like to network.
Mhm.
So it became, let me network, but also give people the opportunity to do the same. And if I didn't do that, what else would I be doing? As like, that side quest. I don't know.
Yeah. Have you had like this isn't your first rodeo, if you will, right? This
No.
isn't. So what other rodeos have you been in?
I had an exotic car rental company in New York.
In New York.
That
That is so cool.
That is
and
cool.
It was cool until people would crash your cars and get tickets and leave them on the side of the road. So it became a headache, but it was profitable. But you couldn't get attached to the car. And eventually I realized that people don't take care of things unless they own it.
Yeah.
And it just became a headache after a headache. So I kind of like the money, the profit was good, but it was just like you get the phone calls at 2 a.m. Hey, the car got impounded, and it was like, oh, come on. Now you have to get out of your bed. You have to get the car because it belongs to you. It's in your name, and you have to justify the situation. So
that's crazy. I don't really think anyone would really put those together, as far as like
Right.
the liabilities that go with that, or the
mean,
non-fun times.
How old were you when you had this company?
when I started out, I was about 20, 22, 23.
Oh my goodness. So you were young.
Well, it was back to like the neighbors saying, hey, can you wash my car? It was like
Right.
the friends, hey, can I take your car out and take my girl out on a date? And they were like, oh, I'll fill up the tank and I'll give you $100. And I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then it just started to snowball into, let me get 3, 4, 5 cars.
Oh my gosh.
When you were starting to make money at the age of 16 washing cars, any 16-year-old that I know would go out and just probably blow their money on things. Did you have a different aspect? Like, did you have a different mindset of what you wanted to do
I blew
with
that
money?
car wash money.
Did you?
Yeah, I got an M3, my first E46 M3, and I would go to car meets, and every probably other month I would have a new set of wheels and a new car part, and everyone's like, how is this? Like, what are you doing? But I would just spend it on I would build cars with that money because I didn't have responsibilities at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't have any kids. I still lived at home, so it was kind of like, all right, dinner's ready. The heat's on, the water works.
Right.
I'm not paying for it. So.
Right.
You're just
Yeah.
coasting.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I make this money. What do I do?
Right.
Were you leveling up, or would you lose money on some of those cars that you were investing
No,
into?
I would level up. Once I started the rental business, I would use the money that I made and put down payments on new cars. So I would collect the initial like 1 month that I made from one car, take the down payment aside from paying off the car, and then I would basically buy another one, go put money down on another one.
That's crazy.
I mean, I had like $6,000 in car payments, but it covered itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
How old were you at this age?
23.
That's
20,
crazy.
yeah.
So
To have that mindset of a young entrepreneur already.
well, I bought a Lamborghini when I was about 23, 24. Yeah.
No way.
That's
Yeah.
insane. I'm literally about to be 25 and I just bought a new car. Like
was it a Lamborghini?
it actually wasn't.
Oh.
I thought about it.
I mean, why not? I tell people just as long as you can cover the payment. So
Yeah.
the cars were expensive, but the payments were relatively cheap. I broke it down to like a micro level. So it's like, all right, $1,500. If I make $1,000 a weekend, it's kind of like paying for itself, and then
Yeah.
everything else
Right.
is just in my pocket.
Wow.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So did you have any mentors that you look back on like that kind of taught you the game on that?
No, I was actually the first one in New York to do it, and it was like a guerrilla style. So I mean, the insurance stuff was like different. It wasn't like Turo now, so it was just like, all right, if something happens, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And it made sense at the time, but now Turo, they have it now where it's like more of a cushion. So
So now I'm assuming like Toro takes majority of the
liability,
liability
Yeah.
off your shoulders.
and they charge you based on that liability.
It's so crazy when you were telling me about how you would just find your cars impounded or on the side of the street or wrecked. It reminds me of walking downtown and seeing the scooters.
Oh
just
yeah,
thrown in the river
Same.
and all this other crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
I've
Yeah.
actually never seen that.
Yes.
What are you
Oh,
talking
yes.
about?
the same concept. People
That
were
is
like leaving the what was it, the bird scooters, like
Yep.
on top of roofs.
Yeah.
So they would
Are
go
you
into
kidding?
apartments, go up to the roof, leave it up there, because someone goes and charges it every like week.
Yep.
So like a van picks up every scooter, charges it, and then puts it out. But like they would have to find these scooters in weird places.
They got a little tracking, and then they'd be like, they walk up to the river, and they'd be like, "Wow, it says it's like right in the middle of the river right there." And people,
It should be right here. It's like at the bottom of the river.
it's crazy though, and I think it goes back to what you were saying as far as you can't value something that you don't own, or that's the mindset of
You didn't technically like earn it.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm just borrowing it, and that's it. So I got out of that business at the quick.
So flash forward, you're in Cincinnati. What made you come to Cincinnati after leaving New York?
after leaving New York.
So, so are you not? Did you go to New York and then
So
to Cincinnati?
I lived in New York. I'm from New York,
Right.
and then I went to college out here.
Oh, okay.
That's how it kind of started, and it was like, and once I left here, I started that business. But it reminded me of Long Island. It was like peaceful. It was no traffic. People were nice. Even the mean people were nice. So it was like, all right, people held doors for you. It was different. It was like, all right, this is cool.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never got that experience.
That's that.
I mean, go to New York. You'll be like, wow.
That's that type of mentality that I feel like people in Ohio. Well, when you're not from Ohio,
Yeah.
you
You
appreciate the Ohioans.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can get to where you're going in the GPS time.
Yeah.
It's not like
That's what I've heard too. We're very fortunate when we're like stuck in traffic jams. We technically don't know what a traffic jam is
Oh man.
until you get outside the city.
Really? I've never been in New York, so I don't even know.
You
Like,
should visit.
is it
to-
crazy packed?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if I could do that.
A lot of people don't even own cars in New York.
It doesn't make sense because even if you get to where you're going, you're gonna come outside and something's gonna be damaged, or you're gonna get $100 ticket because the meter expired and you didn't put a quarter in it. It was like that type of feeling.
Which going back to your business concept, that I could see how that worked so well because a lot of people didn't own cars, and so if they wanted to drive something, they'd have to rent it anyways.
Yeah,
and that's
but
before Uber, I'm assuming too.
before Uber and everything. But I would get tickets, even like tickets. Like I would, because you don't get a ticket until it's like a month later. Like a parking ticket, they send you in the mail like
Oh,
a reminder.
really? Okay.
So one time I almost got like $500 in tickets from like a guy who rented the car like a month before, and I'm like, what?
Oh, no.
Like he just didn't care. He parked wherever he wanted and just kept getting the tickets. So
I would get out of that business so fast.
I mean, you had a cushion and you had that for that issue,
Right.
wheels, tires, maintenance, but it was like repetitively. It's kind of like, all right, come on, you know.
Mhm.
So fast forward, you go to college. Where did you go to college?
ITT Tech.
Nice.
So
nice.
I went to go straight to the point. I went for criminal justice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was cool at the time, but now they weren't, I guess, valuing the credits. So that whole scandal story happened where they just closed down, because even when I graduated, I went to go get more schooling, and they were like, "Oh, you have to retake this class because we don't like see it as a qualified credit." And I'm like, "Come on, I paid for this."
Yeah.
Right.
But they did send me a check recently. They had like a whole lawsuit kind of thing, so they reimburse everyone.
Everything that you paid.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So I was like, wow, how'd they find me? It just
Yeah.
showed up in my mailbox.
Oh,
Literally.
that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. I went to the Art Institute, and I'm just now dealing with that as well.
Uh-oh.
So hopefully one day, in the next couple of years, I'll get a check back for
Yeah,
everything
you might
I
get
paid.
a check
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. Like, so.
So then, other than people wrecking your cars and stuff, have you had any challenges getting to where you are now?
I mean, is there something that you were like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore?
From the car perspective, or just anything in general?
And I think anything in general,
Yeah, I mean, I helped a lot of people start things as like a partnership, and then it ended up not, they didn't want to go as far as I wanted to go. So it was almost like you put a lot of effort into people and things, and then it was like I wasted my time, because you start to see yourself in people. Like, oh, this is what I would do if I were you, but people don't see that. They're in two different directions.
it's hard to spark somebody else's motivation.
Oh, is it? It is.
Even when you think you're on the same page, and
Yeah.
they have a different end game than what you do.
It's just not their path, I guess.
Yeah.
So I learned that was one of the things that deterred me from doing a lot of things. It was kind of like, all right, you figure it out on your own, and if you need me, let me know. But if not, I'm not going to keep kind of holding your hand. So
Right.
You definitely have to slap your business hat on when you're making those negotiations, I feel like, because you can get burnt so easy, even when it's your friend kind of picking your brain. I know we've had conversations off camera about certain things, and it doesn't all have to be about business, but at the same point in time, my time is, my business,
But people these days, like with social media, Instagram, and it's instant. So everyone wants the answer immediately. They want to put it in the microwave and they want it to be hot in 1 minute.
That's so true. Social media sometimes has this like perspective, right? Where it's like, oh, you can make millions, or you can do this, this, and this if you just do this, this, and this. And it's like, and you look at some of these influencers, right? And you're like, oh my God, they have like 100K to like 500K. And it's like, yeah, but they've also been doing this since social media first started.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that they just like got into and just started making money off of it.
Yeah, people like see the recent videos.
Yeah.
But if you look back, like if you ever see like one of like Jake Paul's old videos,
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
you're like, hold on, you know, he's been doing it since like YouTube started.
Exactly.
So,
There is definitely a cheat code to that, if you will. But I think nowadays there's so many people that are like, if you want to get rich quick, you know, follow these 5 steps.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's that instant gratification, right? That's what the whole TikTok and influencers themselves, I feel like, are all about when they're on social media. I
they're
mean,
like selling that.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
like that's what they're selling to get
Mhm.
more of an audience. And
Mhm.
it sucks because a lot of the younger generation, they believe it. Like, oh, okay, I could just do this and it happens overnight. But I feel like they miss out the part where you have to be social.
Yep.
You know, and in the real world, being social is what gets you to that perspective, not just on camera. So,
And it's not even a knock against influencers. I mean,
nah.
we're hoping to have a couple influencers on ourselves, and we're wanting to pick their brains. It's like the challenges that they've had to go through to
Right.
get where they are today. You know, that's what this whole platform's all about, is giving the people the light to sit there and be like, yeah, I've made it. This is my element. This is what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, like, this is what I had to go through to get to it, you know?
Right. And I think that like there are a few that I follow that I love because I'm like, they're just real.
Who do you who
Like-
who? Let me hear a few.
Like, they're just real. Like, okay, so you know John.
Yeah,
John.
His wife, yeah, so Toria, who
Shout out.
Okay, yeah.
shout out Toria. She has a great following and she's so real on social media and she's relatable, and that's why people love her, because people
Yeah.
are like, okay, it's not gonna be sunshine every single day, like, and she has kids and she does days in the life and stuff, and she's so relatable and people love to watch that because it's not like there's some influencer that I follow that I'm like, okay, well, I don't drive that kind of car, I don't live in that kind of house,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I think that's why some people get so like, they just get down on themselves because they're like, well, she's 25 in this mansion with like married to a billionaire and she doesn't work and shit. I'm like, there's just so much more, you know, like there's so much that goes behind closed doors, you know.
So my question is, do you feel like that's a more, because in person I'm sure Tori is the same,
Right, yeah.
but do you feel like it's like a Midwest kind of influencer thing, which I seen
Right.
like the LA influencers, some of the New York influencers, on camera they're different, in person it's almost like you can't even speak to them. So is it more like an upbringing and then becoming an influencer?
Right, and that's a good point too. Like, I mean, she's obviously, her and John both have built their platform. Like, from they've done it and they've worked hard at it and they've made it to what it is. And I think that there are some, like you said, from maybe LA, and it's not everybody in LA or anybody from like, but I mean, a lot of them, that's their norm, right? Like, what we see is like, oh my gosh, I like look up to that, and it's like, that's their norm.
They oversaturate it over
Yeah,
there.
they do. Yeah, exactly.
Like if you ever like John, like those influencers like I've met here,
yeah.
they're just like, it's organic.
It is,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think it is like a Midwestern thing because they're just humble and they're just welcoming and inviting and sweet and like so relatable. Like, following people that are relatable, I love.
Yeah, that's the difference. Some people don't see it that way. They
Right.
just like, oh, I want to be like this guy in this, Ferrari.
So they take it to their advantage, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, they want to be like me. And I'm like,
Yeah, selling a dream.
And I feel like when people come to the Midwest, they're very skeptical because they're like, "Why'd you open this? What is your motive by opening up this door for me?"
Like,
Right
why are
now?"
you so nice to
Yeah,
me?
why are you so nice?
Yeah.
That it's like Ohio.
When
why are you so nice?
I started to get nervous when I first moved here after a while, because like they call Cincinnati like the secret city.
Yeah.
And it was like I started to see like plates from Jersey, New York, license plates. And I'm like, oh man, is that like a rental from Enterprise, or are these people moving here? So I would like pull up to people and I'm just like, hey, are you from New York? And they're like, no, it's just a rental. I'm like, oh, all right, thank goodness. It's like, don't come here. This is like, it's good the way it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. You're
Don't-
like, don't ruin Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Don't ruin
tempt
it.
Yeah. So, speaking of your challenges and your accomplishments, I mean, obviously, would you deem yourself as a successful businessman?
I would, because I've tried and I failed and I figured it out. So I think as a successful businessman, when you go through those steps and you actually come to the end game and you realize, all right, this is what makes sense. I don't need this, but I want this, or I want this, but I don't need this. It makes you more successful. So do I consider myself successful? Yeah, I put together an event or an occasion where people gather and they have a good time. So I think that's success.
What would you say would be one of your guys's or yours proudest achievements from a business standpoint or from a personal standpoint?
My proudest, my children is probably the proudest achievement. And from a business perspective, I would say just being social, being able to have people be comfortable around you. I mean, from any age. I mean, you've seen it on some of the Saturdays where, I could talk to the younger crowd, the older crowd, the crowd in between, the celebrity crowd in a sense, and it's just all kind of like relatable. I'm not pretending, or I'm not using something to gain this kind of like, hey, look at me, come hang out.
It's completely organic.
Yeah. So
and it's natural because you're in your natural environment. This is
Yeah.
something that you built up. This is something you poured your
Yeah.
blood, sweat, and tears in, if you will. And it's what it is, what it's become.
yeah, it's organic. So if you see me here and you see me out, it's the same. I've seen kids that went to they go to Marymount High School, and I was getting Chinese food right in Marymount, and they were like running track, and they're like, hey Matt, I saw your car from across the street, and I'm like, oh, what's up, man?
That is awesome.
And they're like, we'll be there Saturday, our dad's dropping us off and we're gonna hang out. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll see you there. But it's like, I'm always the same. So
Yeah.
that is so cool.
Do
Yeah.
you feel like, what was the moment that you feel like, okay, like I've made it? Like, I feel like I look at you and I'm like, okay, he's made it. He's got it together. Like, what was that moment for you like?
the moment was when I left New York and moved here. And I said to myself, one, my dollar is worth $1. In New York, it's worth 50 cents. And I can get more for less in a way. Yeah. And it's like, you think of like a house, in New York, you're close to $1 million, up there, 600,000-700,000. And it's the same house. You get the same kind of feeling, and then the taxes, more like logistical stuff. But over here, it's like you get the house, you're paying a little less, but it's still the same feeling. So you get more for less. And it's like you realize you don't need more. So I'm like, all right, I made it when I figured out my wants from my needs. And I think that's when you make it in life.
The less is more.
Yeah. You're like, I don't need this,
Yeah.
but I want this, or I need this, but I don't,
Right.
That's when you can figure it out.
That's humbling.
Yeah.
Very.
So, with that being said, what advice would you give to somebody else that's trying to go on a similar path that you have?
Good
Taken.
question. A good question.
Be social, talk to everybody, and don't kind of feel like you're better than somebody once you've made it. So sometimes you get someone who gets a nicer car, and then they automatically feel like they're like different. They talk to people different. They park farther away.
Yeah.
They do like weird stuff,
They
and
park
it's like,
further away.
no, just be the same person you were when you started. And I think to be that person it takes you further. You don't change.
Yeah,
So,
Goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So stay the same.
I always try to like live by like no one's better than anybody else.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like, I truly believe that there's nobody better than anybody else. I think we're all on this planet to get through life together.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more on that one.
So be social, stay the same, and always give advice, because someone is looking up to you, even though you don't know, but someone's always following you, looking up to you. So, I'll post quotes and stuff on my social media, and I'll get people randomly, hey, I needed that today.
Yeah.
Aw.
And you know, I have like 4,000 people who follow me. So if you put that in 4,000 people in a room and one person says, hey, I needed to hear that, it's like, all right, that was worth it.
That was worth
I
it.
love
Yeah.
it.
So
That's awesome.
That
Yeah.
is.
So, real quick, I want to ask you. So you got the cars down pat, right? You know your cars. My thing to you, and that I would say that's probably what that's you in your element with the car shows, right?
yeah,
So what do you think you would say isn't in your element? What is there something that you're not? I don't want to come
I'm
out.
not telling you guys.
Yeah, right.
So now, do you want to know more as a hobby or more as a profession?
More like, okay, for me, I know that I like cooking, but I'm not great at it, right?
Yeah.
So that to me, I'm like I default to like
You're like, but I love it. Why can't I be
love
good
being in
at
the
it?
kitchen, but more so I'm in the way in the kitchen.
I'm in the
you
way.
know what I mean?
I love to cook. I love to create things, and weirdly enough, I love to fly. I like to fly planes.
So like
Really?
actually pilot a plane?
I got a few hours, yeah, on a small instrument plane. So I'm like figuring out when I'm gonna have the time to do it, to go up and get more hours. But I love being up in the air. So,
That nice.
so that's
You don't hear that a lot.
No, you
Usually it's the
don't.
complete opposite.
Yeah.
Like, I hate
nah.
flying.
I love being in the air. Like, if I could live in space, I would live in space.
Really?
Wow.
There's no speed limit. There's no traffic, and you can see everything. You know, it's like a different perspective.
Huh.
I guess you could also go to Germany and there's no speed limit over there on the Autobahn. You could
Yeah, but
don't have to travel to space for that.
I was the kid in the airplane that always wanted the window seat. I just stared out the window the whole flight.
Yeah, me too. But usually it's because I want to see one more landing. I don't
Yeah, like when are we going down?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, but I think that's probably, you know.
So that I guess that's just another thing that you enjoy to do.
And nursing, healthcare. So that's like
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. So the back end of the professional part of me is a nursing school in New York. It's a family business, and I kind of am part of that situation as well. Like, I have a role there, so I love taking care of people. And when I was like learning the business, I was actually like a home health aide. So like I took care of people, I changed the diapers, I went out on excursions with a group of people and individuals. So I did that with people with disabilities. So I actually worked at a company for like 3 years
Wow,
to learn the inside
Wow.
aspect of it.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So, okay, really quick. So, your family is a like nursing school? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So we own a nursing school in New
Oh,
York.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Home Health Aid Training Institute.
Oh, shout
out.
out. Yeah, shout out.
And is your family still in New York?
Yeah, they're like, we love this place.
And you're like, okay, that's great, but I'm gonna stay here.
I'm like, yeah, all right.
You gotta come out to Ohio.
Oh man, they come out here, and people get the impression of like Columbus or Cleveland, like just a field with like one cow, and they're like, I'm like, no, Cincinnati is like it's a secret city.
I really like Cincinnati too because you kind of get the best of both worlds here.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't shout out the other parts of Ohio.
No, that is such a misconception. I mean, don't get me wrong. Depending on which highway you are, you're going to be looking at either buildings or you're going to be looking at corn. But, it's not all just corn out here.
It's not.
There's people.
We're more than corn.
Yeah, we are more than corn.
They think like horses, and like people are like, why would you move to Ohio? Oh my goodness, what's out there? And then I'll post something from like Caffeine Fuel. They'll see a Pagani, and they'll be like, wait a minute,
Are you still in Ohio?
are you still in Ohio? Where is that?
Surprise.
Surprise.
So, speaking of Caffeine and Fuel, tell us when the next time you are here on Element Eatery. By the way, we do this live inside of Element Eatery, so if you hear some outside noises, that's where it's coming from. But tell us, when are you here next, and any kind of big events that you have coming up with Caffeine and Fuel?
So every Saturday, 9 to noon. Usually it's 9 to 11, but we say noon because you can get lunch afterwards. You can bring your family, you can bring the pets, dogs only, no cats, but you can kind of, it's a space where you can kind of hang out for the whole day. So Saturday, 9 to 12, and the big event coming up is May 3rd. So we had one last year, and it was almost like a Tokyo Drift midnight
Yes.
kind of party.
It was the best time. Like
I
the
had-
vibes were
yes.
so good. It was
It
so
was
fun.
awesome.
I was afraid. I was impressed, and I was afraid because I was like, we're running out of space, and people were coming in and they were leaving because they couldn't find. I'm like, wow, we did it. We made
was
it.
like
Yes, it was a crazy.
it was like a scene from Fast and Furious.
It
Yeah.
was.
Like it was like nighttime, the sun was going down, you see all these like cool cars pull up, and then we had like
the
a
music.
big DJ,
Oh man.
garage doors open, food, drinks. It was so
Yeah.
fun.
So
It
this,
was a huge success last year.
oh, this year we're gonna go up a little bit. So
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I can't
I'm
wait.
super excited. When is that event?
May 3rd, 6 to 10.
6 to 10.
And come prepared. I mean, we have food, we have drinks, we have music, cars.
I mean, this place is definitely family friendly. Like no matter what, bring the whole family out. There's stuff to do for everyone.
Oh yeah.
I'm super excited about that. And well, this has been great. I think this is a great opportunity to wrap it up. This is In Your Element podcast. Again, Randall Pink
Natalie Kaufman.
Yeah. Matador Matty.
from Caffeine Fuel. Thank
Yeah.
you guys so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yay.